Hello clever people, and welcome to our review for Ant-Man and the Wasp. So this film series in the Marvel Cinematic Universe follows the story of Scott Lang, who is Ant-Man. He is this guy who can shrink down to the size of an ant, but still have all of the strength of a normal human, so he can sneak into places. He is built off of technology that came from Scott Lang, who was originally Ant-Man back in the 60s and 70s, but since has retired and is now bringing somebody else on to try to get behind an organization that is trying to exploit the technology. That's the plot of the first film. In the second one, what he's trying to do is he's trying to find his wife, who went subatomic, so she went very, very small, and they thought that they couldn't get her back, but Scott Lang did it. So with the help of Scott Lang as Ant-Man again, and Hank Pym's daughter, who is the Wasp, they team up together and go and find Hank Pym's wife. So that is the plot of both movies. Since I've gotten that out of the way, I will go straight into my opinions on both films and the series as a whole. So the first Ant-Man is a movie I saw multiple times in theaters. When I saw it back in 2015, I was in love with it. I thought it was hilarious. I thought it was a great addition to the Marvel Universe. And watching it again, I gotta say, it's not as good as I remember. Obviously, nothing ever is. But it still kept that same magic, and I still liked it almost just as much. I think that this is a very well put together movie. A lot of people mourn the fact that they didn't get to have Edgar Wright be the person in this movie who was at the forefront, who was the director, who was the creative mind behind it, and that the movie was ruined because of that. Personally, I get where they're coming from, because I think that he would have been a great addition to the film, and I think that he would have served as a great director, especially in making this film stylized and make it feel like its own special fragmented part of the MCU. But if you were to take away that news and just get handed this movie, you would see that it has good direction, that it follows a consistent tone, that it's consistently entertaining throughout. And yeah, we didn't get Edgar Wright, which would have been optimal, but we still got a very well put together, well constructed movie. It's very entertaining from start to finish. I never got bored, and also, it does have that type of thing I talk about with Marvel movies, where they split off into their own genre. You know, Winter Soldier, 70s Cold War spy thriller, Guardians of the Galaxy, road trip movie. This one kind of split off, and it felt like it became a heist movie. And it was a very well done heist movie at that. And I love that because it does make it feel very separate from the rest of the Marvel movies. Watching Ant-Man and Ant-Man and the Wasp this time around, with all the Marvel movies around it, I realized how different and how much these movies stand out. Also, I gotta just say one last thing. Paul Rudd kills it in this role. Ant-Man is one of my favorite superheroes because I associate him with Paul Rudd and his performance. He is so great at being a washed up dad who's trying to become a new person. He brings a lot of levity to the role, but mostly he brings the comedy that is needed. He is the reason these movies hold up for me. I think that his performance is probably the second or third best performance in the whole series, next to Robert Downey Jr. and Chris Evans. They both give exceptional performances, especially in Civil War. But I do think that Paul Rudd follows them up. He's a controversial choice, but I really do think he's the reason these movies stand up. I will give Ant-Man a 7.5 out of 10. Alright, now we are on to Ant-Man and the Wasp. So, this movie came out very recently. It's actually it's the most recent MCU movie that I'm re-reviewing with this series, because the other one is Captain Marvel, and I literally just reviewed that in March, so I'm not going to see it and review it again. But Ant-Man and the Wasp, I saw back when it came out in summer. It was nice for its time. I was excited to see it. I liked having that light summer feeling of a movie after Infinity War, which kind of just brought the house down and made everyone feel terrible. They're doing that again this year with Endgame. That's going to either make everyone feel terrible or everyone feel great, but regardless, you'll have a light, happy ending with Spider-Man Homecoming, and a nice light ending with Spider-Man Far From Home. But anyways, Ant-Man and the Wasp this time around, I actually liked it a lot more. And I think I liked it because I got to see it with Ant-Man right before it. And these two movies are a great double feature because they do feel very similar. They feel like they exist within the same type of feeling, they exist within the same type of mood. However, they both have differences enough to the point that they don't feel like the same movie. And that's optimal when you're making a sequel. I really like Ant-Man and the Wasp. It's very entertaining, very well done. It just doesn't hit on a lot of the emotional beats that the first one. And honestly, what's weird to me is that I've seen the first Ant-Man probably 8-9 times. I've seen Ant-Man and the Wasp. This is my third time seeing it because I saw it twice in theaters. But Ant-Man still feels a lot fresher to me, and the sequel feels a lot less fresh, and I'm guessing because there was a lot of pressure on the MCU at that point, with Infinity War just coming out, trying to be just that nice bridging movie. There's a lot of pressure on it, so I understand why, but I still think that it's a well put together movie, it's entertaining, and in the end, I will give Ant-Man and the Wasp a 6.75 out of 10. Alright, so if I were to rank Ant-Man and Ant-Man and the Wasp within the Marvel Cinematic Universe, I would say they're not as good as the Guardians movies, they're not as good as the Captain America movies, but I would put them above the Iron Man movies, just because Iron Man 2 and 3 aren't that good, and obviously the Thor movies are way, way down here. So all I have left now are the Solo films and the Avengers films, and then I will be reviewing Avengers Endgame. As of right now, I am seeing it in less than 48 hours, so I am hyped for it. I am so excited. I will get a review out to you guys as soon as I can once that comes out. But anyways, that concludes my review for the Ant-Man series. So what are your thoughts on these films, or how would you put them in the MCU? Comment in the comment section below and let me know. I'm Robert Burke, and this has been The Clever Critics. Goodbye.